Cold War zombies isn't exactly the easiest iteration of zombies we have had, and considering there's been a significant amount of changes in the game compared to other titles, today I came up with 21 tips that I want to be sharing. Now some of these are very obvious ones and some of them you might learn something new. And before I even go into the video, I just want to say Happy New Year. I hope 2021 is so much better than last year, and I do really hope that we can all recover well because last year was just so shit. But anyway, let's move on to the first tip of the list. So for tip number 1, this is to just choose a good loadout. Really take time to customize your loadout and make sure your gun is exactly what you want it to be. And this does include making sure to try and experiment with the right attachments, just so you're able to get the gun you actually want to use. I know this one sounds really obvious, but you know, you'll be surprised at how detrimental it can be to start with a gun that just isn't good. And just overall, make sure it's a loadout that you are comfortable with. Tip number 2 is going to be to use abilities like Aether, Shroud or Ring of Fire. These two stand out amongst the whole community, not even just me, as the two best abilities you can use. Not only can they get you out of some really sticky situations, but they can also carry you to round 100. Aether Shroud allows you to be able to become invisible to the zombies, essentially like the Gobblegum in plain sight from Black Ops 3, and Ring of Fire is basically just, it makes this big ring of fire, believe it or not, and it makes everything just feel way more powerful. The ring will burn zombies and your gun damage will be buffed, and this is of course if your stuff is upgraded. Tip number 3 is to remember to pack a punch frequently. I see people packing once and then kind of forgetting to, and their gun will get really weak. Even I forget this, I'm gonna be honest, but I always try and pack a punch as regularly as possible. The same goes with weapon rarity. Make sure you keep changing that as well and upgrading it, because that is another thing you can just easily forget for the whole match. Leaving it for a while isn't the end of the world, but however it really does just make your life in that round a lot easier. On to tip number 4, use the truck spot. For anyone wondering what this truck spot is, it's basically this place on the back of a truck that you can sit on. It's just outside of Narked where the pond area is, and it essentially just lets you get to high rounds really easy. It can let you get past round 100 by doing this strategy. I've made a video about what to do and how to follow this strategy so you can get the best experience from it, and all I'm saying is it's a pretty good strat and definitely one of the easiest to follow. Tip number 5 is to just practice training. This is the most reliable way to stay alive in zombies, without a doubt. Ask any zombie veteran, that is what they will tell you. And training isn't something that can just be done overnight. It's something you really have to spend time learning to do. Training is essentially getting all of the zombies into a horde and guiding them round in usually a circle motion to be able to filter and organize them, if you will. It keeps them a safe distance away from you, and you basically are on the move constantly and you're able to kill them as the round goes on. So whenever you try training, take into consideration where you're doing it and where the zombies are spawning, and also if there's any obstacles in your way that you could possibly get stuck on. I don't want to keep promoting, but I just really want to be helpful here. I made a top 5 training spots video. You check it out if you want. For anyone who is wanting to train, it will help get you started. Once you actually learn how to train, you'll be able to get to very high rounds. On to tip number 6. This is to always get Juggernog first. There's no arguments to be made here. Juggernog is one of the most, if not the most important perk in zombies. Believe me when I say that increased health goes a long way, and you should get it whilst it is the cheapest perk. And I think it is just a comfort knowing that you have increased health, and that way you won't die. Number 7 is one that I see way too many people making the mistake of, and these are the people who rely way too heavily on the box for weapons. So this tip really is just don't rely too much on the box. Most of the time it doesn't get you anywhere, especially in the early rounds. Just pick a good gun for your loadout, like I said earlier in the first tip, and then in the later rounds rounds, just casually spin it for a ray gun or something, because let's face it, the box is a waste of points 90% of the time. So don't do it to yourself, okay? Just pack a punch your gun instead. Number 8 is going to be to use dead wire, or at least early on, to help with those pesky thick-ass megatons. Megatons are huge bullet sponges, it is ridiculous, but dead wire has its own effect where it does additional electric shock damage. But I'm sure you're all thinking, well, maybe it's just a little bit of dead wire damage, surely it can't be that good. Oh, let me tell you, dead wire on megatons, it absolutely destroys them. It does so much damage to them. It's a game changer, especially in the early rounds when you don't have much firepower. I did a pretty in-depth guide about which pack-a-punch elemental effect is the best in Cold War Zombies, and spoiler alert, dead wire is on top. Number 9 is don't be scared to exfil. You know, the amount of times me and the boys have been playing zombies and we think, should we exfil? And then we say, nah, and then we just die the round after. It's ridiculous. Unless you're really thinking about going for round 100 plus runs, don't think too hard about exfilling if you need to get out of a sticky situation. Plus, you get some bonus XP and crystals, so why not? Speaking of exfils, tip number 10 is going to be to take advantage of them and do it at round 31 to get the most XP and crystal benefit in the fastest time. I also made a video about this. I feel like I explain it pretty well, just if you're wondering what I'm talking about, but essentially, to sum it up, if you exfil at round 31, in about an hour of game time, you're going to be getting the most XP and crystals available. For number 11, this is to make sure that you always take a wonder weapon to said exfil you're about to go on, especially the die shockwave, okay? That is an absolute beast for killing hordes all at once, and so you'll be able to clear out exfil zombies really easily and not have to worry about running out of time. You can also sit on the truck to be able to clear exfils easier as well, since all of the zombies will just funnel into one area. Tip number 12, make sure to utilize ammo crates, because people can forget that they're there sometimes. And honestly, the sheer amount of them that are scattered around the machine makes it really convenient to quickly go and grab some ammo at a cost, of course, but not really that expensive when you start building up points. So no longer do you have to be waiting around for the next dog round to happen, and you can instead just go and get ammo whenever you want. Number 13 is to go to the dark aether more often and hit those damn crystals that are glowing and contain goodies. That's right, they don't just kinda sit there, they actually have a purpose, and you can get more than just ammo and armor plates from these things. I made a video covering most of the stuff you can get in them, and you can literally get a free perk from doing this. So every once in a while, just dedicate a bit of time to running around the dark aether, getting as many crystals as you can, and hey, you might even get a ray gun. And lucky for you, there's a lot of these crystals around the map. Number 14 is to take megatons out as quickly as possible. The amount of times I've left these in a round and completely just acted like they're not there, and then they have eventually just ended my whole match, I'd probably need more than 2 hands to count. If you see them spawn in, just make sure you get rid of them as soon as possible. It will save you so much stress. In tip number 15, kill streaks can be used to get you out of sticky situations, and essentially if you have a chopper gunner or a predator missile, I don't know the actual name of them, if you open them when you're about to be cornered or just straight up ready to die, the zombies will ignore you. It's really useful, say if you don't have a monkey bomb or your ether shroud has just run out and it needs to recharge, so you should definitely give this one a try. Number 16, make sure you're getting the right perks first. For example, don't get something like elemental pop whilst it's cheap and then have to spend a bunch of points on a really useful perk like Juggernog, which you actually need, because not only is the point system different in this game, but it's also different as as to how perk prices work. All perks are one price, and eventually the more of them you buy, the more expensive the next one will be. So just make sure you prioritize which perks you buy first. I would say make sure that you keep an eye on the first 4 that you buy. For 17, this is a little unusual one, but do the coffin dance Easter egg at the beginning of most matches. I have a guide of how to do this, but it's a really good meme and it pays good homage to it, and you get a really good reward as well. You get this chest that can give you a golden tier weapon, and yes, that does include the ray gun, and you are guaranteed free juggernog with it and a bunch of salvage, so it's a no-brainer to do this. You can do it really early on and it costs absolutely nothing. The only requirement to start this short Easter egg is to make sure that you have Pack-a-Punch unlocked. Tip number 18, and this should be an obvious one, but surprisingly I've seen a lot of people not be doing this or even know how to, and this is to just use your Ethereum crystals and upgrade your stuff. So a few weeks back when Cold War just came out, I made a video about how to upgrade all of your stuff and what the best use for your crystals is, and a lot of people in the comments were telling me they couldn't access this, they did not know how to. All you have to do is go onto Loadout and skills, and all of those crystals you get for reaching certain round milestones, you can use them and upgrade stuff. In that video, I do cover the best uses for your Ethereum crystals. A lot of people have been saying it's been really helpful, so if you need anything like that, then it is right there. So remember, if you keep seeing that you've earned some, go and spend them. On to tip number 19. This is to grab a perk change. I know it seems so small, but believe me, it can help. Say if you're like 200 points short from being able to open the door to power, just run to the Juggernog machine and go prone. You'll get 100 points, run to the stamina up machine, do the same thing, 100 points again, and this applies for every perk around the map. It takes a second to do, so there's no point in not doing it really, and it's just a cool little thing that's been in zombies since World at War. I mean, who's gonna turn down 3 points, right? Number 20, and personally I think this is a very important one, and this is to learn whereabouts you can vault on the map and make shortcuts from there. I'm gonna give 2 examples here. The first one is when you're running up the stairs from Pack-a-Punch and there's the 2 staircases leading to the power button where you turn the power on, and that's also where elemental pop is. Instead of running up those stairs, you can just literally jump and vault over the railing. Not only does this help make a quick escape, but you also don't have to worry about being stuck on the stairs. The other one is a more well-known one, and this is the hole that you drop down into to get Deadshot Daiquiri. You don't even have to take the freaking stairs, you can just jump right back out and you straight up climb over it. The best part is in D Machine there are many more shortcuts like this, so you'll be able to find your own little shortcuts that save you a bit of time or ones that can get you out of a life or death situation. I really do encourage you to explore the map and really experiment around with these. And last but not least, tip number 21 is to just keep practicing all of these things. If you're having a hard time doing things like training or being able to reach high rounds or finish an exfil, just keep practicing. Zombies is one of those types of games, and the more you play it, the more things that you pick up. You'll probably become a lot better at training if you keep practicing it, and you'll be able to finish those exfils and get to high rounds and be able to pull those crazy clutches when all of your friends are down. It really is all part of the fun, and if you feel like you're starting to struggle and you really are convinced you just can't do it, just keep at it, because you'll be able to thank yourself when you're really good at zombies. Holy shit, that was like the most positive start to 2021 I think we could ever get. And those were 21 hopefully very useful tips and tricks in zombies. Like I said earlier, I know some of them are very obvious, but I think there's a few on there that may open a few eyes up. And I just want to say again, Happy New Year everyone. It is so satisfying to look in the bottom right corner of my monitor right now and just see 2021. I think we're all just happy that 2020 is gone. But anyways guys, I'm gonna leave this video here today. If you enjoyed it, be sure to smash the like button, comment any other tips I've missed out or if there's any you want to share, and if enough people comment stuff like this, we'll get this huge list. And most importantly, be sure to subscribe to the channel as well. A really small percentage of people who watch these videos are even subscribed, so if you really do find yourself enjoying and you want to see more from me, then be sure to hit the subscribe button, and most importantly turn on the bell too, so you get to see whenever I post. You'll get it straight away in your notifications. The support for the channel has been amazing, and I have really big plans for 2021 content wise, so please do stick around. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.